Hello friends, this is Marilla Kay and I'm here today with a tutorial for you. I get questions all the time on how I edit my photos and how I get them to look so glossy. Now, I will be honest, I use a professional camera and professional equipment, as well as a professional software. So that does give me a great advantage as far as editing goes. But I believe that anyone can get a great image if they just know how to use the program they have. Today we're going to use Photoshop and Pixlr, which is a free online site that allows you to edit your photos. And we're going to start with just a basic photo of a latte. The photos were taken in a warm environment, and so we will have to edit the color in order to try and give it a natural look. We're going to start with the website Pixlr to get an idea of what it can do. On Pixlr, you use basically the same sort of format that you would on Photoshop or on a desktop program here online in your web browser. I'm going to start by editing the color, but as you can see, as I edit the color, that darkened shadow in the bottom corner is getting darker and a little bit muddy. As I try to fix it, this program doesn't have quite the technology that Photoshop does, and so it won't give you as clean of an edit as it would in Photoshop, but it is doing a really decent job. However, you will see that as I edit, that brightness right on the bottom of the counter, on that bottom third of the image, is starting to get blown out. There's not much I can do to fix that because we're editing off of a JPEG. If I was using a raw image, I could rescue some of that highlight, but edits like this on a JPEG are pretty hard to do. Using this program, I'm going to try and fix the shadows, but it's not a very smooth edit and very obvious what I did, so we're just going to crop this photo to a good size and call it good. Now, I used a bunch of different portions of this software. There are different adjustments available, such as curves, exposure, brightness, and we use a lot of the color editing tools as well. However, if you want me to go into more detail on that, I will happily do that for you. Next, we're going into Photoshop using a raw image, and we can edit with the raw editor that is in Photoshop. This allows us to do a lot before we even open it up in the program. And here, I'm going to edit the color, turn up the exposure a little bit to brighten that image, as well as pull up some of the shadows so it's got a really bright, clean look overall. I'll then go in and take out that vignetting in the bottom corner and then open it up in Photoshop. Now that it's open in Photoshop, I'm going to add a curves layer here, pull down my brightness a little bit, make sure that I've got the contrast that I want in this image, and then I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of the darker spots on the counter. As I do this, you will see that the image starts looking a whole lot cleaner and crisper, and it looks like a totally different image from the shot that we started with. It's cleaner, it's brighter, it doesn't have that weird kind of yellowy orange background, and it's exactly what you could use for a stock photo or a great background for your Photoshop cover photo or something like that. However, I could crop it a little bit, and so we're also going to make a quick edit, just cropping this image to give it that nice tight look that we also had in the Pixlr image. So as we save this, I'm going to go ahead and compare the two photos for you so that we can take a look at how the editing programs did. We'll start with Pixlr, and then we'll look at both of the Photoshop images and then compare the two cropped ones for you. So here we see this Photoshop image. This is the original edit, very clean. And then as you crop it in, it gives a fun look for that countertop. As you compare the two images, you see that the Pixlr one is a little bit more muddy in color. The colors themselves don't come out as crisp, and that purple tone kind of gets lost and it fades out into that yellowy sort of color. It was a little bit more difficult to get rid of using a JPEG when I was editing online. Thank you so much for taking a look at this video. And if you have any questions on how to edit or would like more specifics and a really long tutorial on using free editing programs online, feel free to comment and let me know, and I would be happy to help you with editing as far as the basics of a program that you can use online like Pixlr. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.